Hello and welcome back to another university vlog. So today I started off by reading in bed in my pyjamas. I was reading The Professor House by Willa Cather, which was for my Empire of Liberty American Literature module. I ended up not actually having to read this for this week, but I read it all today anyway. Then I made my bed, I went downstairs and had a cereal bowl. Doesn't this just look divine? It's making me hungry just looking at it. And then I got dressed and got started at work at my desk. This was my timetable for today, and I basically just continued with reading The Professor House. Again, I am using Kindle to write this. I just download it from the Apple Store. It's free, and then you just buy the books to there. And most of the books that you have to read for English are royalty free, so you don't actually have to pay for them. The ones I have bought have been under £1. Then at 10:30, I was on part 2 of the book. It was really cold, so I decided to get into bed to do some more reading. But first I went and made myself another cup of tea. I think this was mug 2 of the day. After doing some more reading, there was a talk at 2 for all of the English students. It was like an introductory talk where they were talking through what we could expect from this term. So I watched that. I wrote some notes as I was going along. This was an hour long. Then I got started on the Empire of Liberty lectures for this week. So you just have to watch these in your own time. We have a 3-part lecture series. So I watched parts 1, 2 and 3 and wrote notes on these. This was so interesting. We were looking at the Declaration of Independence today as like the beginnings of American literature and how this would have informed American literature, and reading it as a literary text, which I found so fun to do. And we also looked at Washington Irving. I find it so striking how his writing style is so different to what I associate with being American. I don't know, he's very European. I guess that's the whole point, but it's really interesting to read. This is how I was taking my lecture notes. I used Notion and I just used a toggle system, so each of the lectures had one toggle, and then if you kept on going down, then you'd see like each of the subtopics that we spoke about in the lecture. Then I packed my bag because Blakeney and I were heading to a park nearby. It started raining while we were there, which was actually very nice, but also very cold. And we meant to sit outside and study for a bit, but we didn't end up managing to do that because it was very cold. Either way, it was a really nice break, and we were out of the house for like an hour and a half to 2 hours, which was lovely. When I got back, I lit a candlestick. Still cannot get over the fact I'm allowed to have candles in my room. And I decided to watch a lecture from MASSOLIT. So this video is very kindly sponsored by MASSOLIT. This is a platform designed for students who are taking GCSE and A Levels. As you can see along the side for the English literature, you also have each of the exam boards and the text that you would study with that exam board. So you can easily find lectures on the text you're doing at school.
I'm Tiffany Stern, Professor here at Oxford. I'm Professor of Early Modern Drama.
They're basically designed to prepare you for university studies, so they are of like top caliber. These are interesting lectures. I can testify that because I have watched a few and I am genuinely finding them useful for my degree. I'm not even doing A-levels anymore, I'm doing my degree, and I genuinely find these useful. Today I actually did a 6-part lecture course by Tiffany Stern, which actually ties in really well with my theatricals module for this year. We actually had to listen to a talk by Tiffany Stern this week for the Spanish tragedy, and so I was very excited to see her on here. Aside from the fact that the lectures are genuinely interesting and useful, I love that there is also a section for you to take notes. It can be annoying to flip between your notes and a lecture when you're watching something online. This is a little bit later. I lit a candle in the evening, had a really nice cozy evening. I was feeling very Christmassy actually, and so I played Christmas music whilst I was reading this short story for Empire of Liberty. This was Rip Van Winkle, and as I said, the really strange thing about Irving is that he doesn't read like an American writer. He was so influenced by European culture. And so you can see him appealing to British literary stereotypes. Even the name Rip, I think it seems like a very Dickensian name. It's very relevant to his character. I was using my iPad to just annotate this with my Apple Pencil so that and then afterwards I would come back to it and write up those notes. Then we had dinner. Blakeney was so lovely and made dinner for us. She made a lentil dal, which was so delicious. Thank you so much, Blakeney. We had another story to read as well, so I read that, and I also just typed up my notes very briefly. So here we are. Here is the next morning, and I didn't have internet in the morning, which annoyed me because I wanted to do some context research. But I went and got breakfast, porridge this morning. It was divine. And then today I was actually doing theatricals work instead of American literature work. So I was reading Tamburlaine here. This was my outfit of the day. If you're wondering, my top is from The White Company and my skirt is from Miss Patina. I went downstairs, I finished reading that book. This play didn't take that long, to be fair. It took me about 4 hours to read. You can see that I was again taking notes and annotating the text using Kindle. I have a highlighting system, so yellow is just generally interesting. Orange is significant, like this is important. Blue is I should research this, and pink is I just think this line is beautiful. Then Blakeney and I watched the lectures of theatricals this week. Because we're both doing this module, we watch the lectures together. This works really well for us. It means that there's a level of formality to the lectures. Okay, it's currently like 2:45 and I'm just walking to meet my friend Katie. We're going to a park which is just behind the cathedral because it should be less busy. It's quite a sunny day, as you can see, very blue, and we want to meet somewhere where it isn't quite so crowded. Katie and I shared a flat last year. You probably saw her in some of my videos if you watched last year's vlogs. And yeah, I haven't seen her obviously since before lockdown, so it should be really nice to catch up. It was a beautiful day and a lovely walk. Very much enjoyed this walk. Also, I thought I would show you my little hack for pressing the button on the traffic signal. I always pick up a leaf so I don't have to touch it. And this was the way to Rougemont Park, which I'd never been to this park before, and it was so pretty and it was in such a nice location. Like, look at how gorgeous all of these buildings are. I can't believe I haven't been here before. This is just so the kind of thing I usually like. If you live in Exeter, then come to this park. And here's Katie. It was really fun. Then in the evening, Blakeney and I did loads of discussion work for theatricals. We just discussed Tamburlaine for a couple hours, and then this led into dinner and just having non-academic chats too. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. Thank you again to MASSOLIT for sponsoring today's video, and I hope that you have a productive week.